Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Multi-Cloud Happenings. We're really excited to join you today. As you know, as the new technology changes, the world changes, we are so excited to talk to you today about Oracle and Microsoft announcing our Oracle Database Azure offering. So if you joined us a few weeks ago, you saw the announcement on YouTube. And if you were joining us with Cloud World or at Cloud World last week in Las Vegas, there was lots of talk around that as well. So welcome. I wanted to put this in there, because our safe harbor statement, because this is kind of a new announcement. I want to make sure that you understand that what we're talking about is intended to outline our general product direction, and it's for informational purposes only. So my name is Tammy Bednar, and I'm a product manager, and I focus on our Exadata database services and our base database services. And today we have some great experts. We have Suzanne Holiday. Hey, Suzanne, how are you today?
Hey, Tammy. Hi, everybody. Pleased to be here. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, thanks. And we have Thomas joining us to help us answer any questions from our OCI team. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Tammy. Hi, Suzanne. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so let's get started. So I think everybody knows about multi-cloud strategies are the new normal. So last week I had an opportunity to present and I asked how many people are using a multi-cloud strategy, and just about everybody in the room raised their hand. And then I asked the question, how many different cloud providers are you using? And, it was quite surprising that quite a few in the room said 3 or more. So, this is the new normal, and multi-cloud strategies are fantastic for, I think, all our solutions to allow you, or enable you, I should say, to provide or to select the best application with all your cloud providers, as well as the best database services. And with multi-cloud, we have the ability, or you have the ability, to choose the architecture that works the best with your application and database workloads. Now, one of those architectures, and we're going to talk about two of the most common ones. This first one is called a full stack application architecture. And this is where you have different application stacks on two different cloud providers, but you have the data integration happens between the applications without re-architecting them. And as you can see, we have some network requirements. It really depends on how these applications are architected. It depends on what kind of data you're exchanging between both of these full stack architectures. So perhaps the data in this case, or I should say the network in this case, doesn't have to have a high bandwidth and throughput, because perhaps you're exchanging information for analytics between the two applications, but not as much data as if you needed a low latency transfer, or you needed data to be shared between the two applications in a much less time that it takes to go through the network. Then the other architecture that we really focus on multi-cloud happenings is called a split stack application architecture. And this is where you run essentially your database services in OCI, and then you run your applications in your cloud provider, your selected application that works best for your workloads or your business. Now, in this particular case, the network requirement is very important because you probably need very low latency and high throughput network in this architecture. Because if your application needs to go get the data, you want to make sure it gets it back in a very fast and efficient time. Now, when it comes to our database services, we provide flexible options as well. If we're starting on our left-hand side, we have our autonomous database service, which is our easiest database service because it is a fully managed. It automates a lot of the manual tasks that you have to operate on as a DBA. For example, backups, making sure patches are applied or maintenance is done, and things like that. And in Autonomous Database, we offer a serverless and a dedicated Exadata option to run your autonomous databases. Then in the middle, we have our Exadata database service. And this is we're going to say it's the most flexible database service. It is a dedicated or runs on a dedicated Exadata infrastructure. Now, this is a co-managed service that provides the ability for Oracle to manage the infrastructure, and then when it comes to the VMs, the operating system, the database, the GI, then we work with you to ensure that the maintenance is applied or provided to your Exadata databases. And then, of course, you have control over all your databases and the data as well. And it can run any workload from small to enterprise to mission critical workloads as well. And then finally, we have our base database service, which we like to call our more traditional service because it runs within a VM on a shared compute. And it is also a co-managed service, so it still provides a lot of automation when it comes to provisioning your databases and the service. But again, you get full administrative control. Now, with base database service, you can run either a single instance or you can run a 2-node rack shape, depending on the type of application, the type of high availability that you're wanting to run as well. And then when it comes to our Exadata platform, we have thousands of critical deployments on premises and in the cloud running it. As you know, Exadata has been around, I think, 14 years now, and it started as an engineered system on premises. And we run all workloads on the Exadata platform. And as you can see, we have several customers running in banking, financial, healthcare, any kind of business type that you have, the Exadata platform can run that. And 76% of our Fortune Global 100 run on Exadata, while 53% of those run in our Exadata cloud as well. The great thing about the Exadata platform, if you're running today on premise with those applications, guess what? It works just fine running those same applications in the cloud as well. And the Exadata platform is a fantastic platform for consolidating many databases to make it much easier from a management perspective. Okay, so we're listening to you, and we know that you want the best of both worlds. You want to be able to run the best database platform, the best database architecture, and you want to be able to choose the best application. And in this case, we're talking about Microsoft Azure. And if you've been with us for a while, you know that we've started a great partnership with Microsoft several years ago, I think, Suzanne, right? Was it 5-6 years ago?
It was 2019.
2019. See, time flies. So with that, I'd like to turn this over to Suzanne to talk about more on our Microsoft partnership and our announcement that was just made a few weeks ago.
Thank you, Tammy. So let's cast our mind a little back to the history of the partnership. So as Tammy just said, we did this a couple of years back. So back in June 2019, Oracle and Microsoft forged this partnership with the interconnect. And this was where we actually laid down an interconnect, Microsoft Azure for Oracle, for Microsoft Azure and Oracle Cloud. And the reason why we did that is because we had certain goals centered on accelerating the cloud deployment for our joint customers. So with the goal of that was this low latency, ease of setup when configuring solutions spanning both of our clouds. And out of this partnership, the interconnect was born. And this was our very first Microsoft Oracle Azure service that we actually laid down and provisioned. Although it was an OCI actual service, but it enabled customers to do multi-cloud, negating the need for a connectivity provider, bandwidth charges, etc. And it still is very much today a very loved service by our customers and highly utilized and widely deployed. It is a private dedicated interconnect. It is actually customer managed, but with that customer management, it gives a lot of flexibility because this interconnect enables customers to provision across all the OCI services and enable that connectivity to run your applications in Azure. You've got your, single sign-on identity federation features as well, which provides that, single sign-on connectivity and the use of the LDAP directories. So it really makes it very easy for customers to connect those clouds together. And we have particular SKUs that make it easy on the express route side. For example, the local SKU where you're not paying egress charges in that respect. So that was the very first offering that we made. Then back in very, very recently in July 2022, Oracle and Microsoft announced the availability of Oracle Database Service for Azure. So this was an extension of this 2019 partnership. And the reason why we actually brought this service to the market was so that customers can easily provision, access, and monitor enterprise Oracle database services. So whereas before the interconnect today, it's for all OCI services, this particular service is for the Oracle database service with managed connectivity. So it's not customer connectivity, but Oracle managed connectivity with an Azure look and feel. So if you go to the next slide, Tammy, please. We are now going to move forward a little bit from the July 2022 and go forward, because we listen to our customers, and we often heard, well, these services are wonderful and they do provide low latency, but wouldn't it be even better if we could actually get the workload even closer to the application from a database perspective? So what if you could actually run your database workloads on OCI infrastructure inside Azure itself? And the idea, a lot of customers would come to us and say, we've got, connectivity providers that do this, but if you could actually provide this as a managed service, that would be even better. Because today, with the two services I've just mentioned, we have this reliance on the OCI Azure interconnect regions, and customers were just looking to edge a little bit nearer to where their application runs in the Azure data centers. Next slide, please, Tammy. So with that, very recently, as Tammy alluded, on September the 14th, 2023, Oracle and Microsoft announced Oracle Database at Azure. So while we have for Azure, this is now at Azure. Again, as an extension to the partnership, we listen to our customers, and what we are announcing here is the fact that we would like to deliver the performance, scale, and security of all these workload availability and advantages that the Oracle database can provide on OCI, with that, with the security and the flexibility, the best-in-class services on Microsoft Azure. So the best of both worlds. So what we're doing here and what we're announcing to our customers is that we're giving our customers choice. So this is where the Oracle database services are managed and operate, where they actually run best on Oracle hardware as an OCI Exadata database service on dedicated infrastructure, because this is the first service that we're rolling out, actually running inside an Azure data center, okay? So this is where we're going to have this native integration via the Azure portal. And as you can see on this slide here on the very right, you'll see that Oracle Database at Azure icon appears, and that will be visible from this from the Azure portal itself. So this is the very first database service that we're offering, and we hope to grow rapidly with additional database services. And if you as a customer are interested, we are currently defining a limited availability process. So please reach out to your sales rep should you wish to preview. Okay, next slide, please, Tammy. So with this, let's just define the parameters of where we're at today and which services going forward are going to be the services of choice when it comes to running Oracle and Microsoft Azure workloads together. Now, the service we see on the left is the OCI Azure Interconnect. that is not going away, and it's an absolutely wonderful, viable option for customers who really need to provision multiple OCI services and connect those services to an application running in Azure. And really, this interconnect, it's private interconnect, very secure. It's customer managed, but customers that we've worked with, very, very deeply in the past and still today tell us, once you've actually done it a couple of times and you're comfortable with it, you can really provision it in minutes. So it's like a half an hour kind of provisioning time. If you do that, it's fully compatible with your Terraform scripts. And like I mentioned earlier, you do have this option of running across different SKUs, both on the Oracle Fast Connect side and the Azure Express Route side, with connectivity bandwidth at 1 gig, 2 gig, 1 gig, 2 gig, 5 gig, and 10 gigabit, and 100 on the actual interconnect itself. And it has this collaborative support model, which is on the connectivity itself, may I add. So just if you've got issues on the connectivity, then you can actually raise an SR and Oracle support, who will then work with Microsoft Azure support to deal with that issue for you. So it's a wonderful choice today and going forward for customers, even with this Oracle Database at Azure announcement, because let's not forget, you may be wanting to deploy more than the database services, and you may want more control and that flexibility as well. So that's the service we're talking about on the left, and the new announcement addresses the Oracle Database at Azure. And as I previously said, this service is really providing this low latency Exadata database service on dedicated infrastructure on Oracle hardware, which is very important to reiterate on the database side, which is provisioned in an Azure data center. And like I said before, this will appear on the Azure portal, so customers will be able to see that. And I do want to reiterate this point is the fact that it's managed connectivity. So it's not customer managed, it's Oracle managed connectivity. And one of the things that we found by talking with customers is that they were wanting, they found it quite flexible if we could work with Microsoft to offer a way for them to actually use their Azure credits to provision this new service. So you can do that. You can actually use your Azure credits in this case to provision Oracle Database at Azure. So next slide, please, Tammy. Okay, so like we said before, what we're doing here, we're giving you as a customer choice. We want you to be able to run your workload where you choose. With this fully Oracle managed database services running on OCI, like I said, obviously at the start, it's going to be ExaDBD that we're rolling out, customer and Oracle managed, running on OCI, but inside Azure. And you can experience this high performance scale and availability, as well as feature parity and pricing too. So important to mention that when we are migrating and modernizing and innovating to these workloads to modern applications, we are offering this service, which will work with the database services on OCI, which provides you all this proven database migration tooling as well, included automated migration strategies for the Oracle Zero Downtime Migration tool, as well as Oracle Data Guard and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Golden Gate. Now, previously, we could never actually have RAC available in Azure. Now, customers will have access to RAC, Oracle Real Application Clusters. And this is where Oracle Database at Azure will be deployed in multiple availability zones on the Azure side within an Azure region to help meet these high availability needs as well. And one of the things that we're finding that customers will really like and that does benefit is this simplified purchasing and operations, whereby customers will purchase through the Azure Marketplace and use your Azure consumption commitment. So Microsoft Azure Consumption Commitment, that's the MAC acronym, to monitor and troubleshoot, to actually burn down your commitment. And you can also monitor and troubleshoot with the Oracle Database Service Logs and Metrics, which I'll show you in another slide shortly. We have the ability to for you to continue using your Oracle support rewards. So you as a customer with on-premises license, you are eligible, those eligible with the Oracle support rewards can still enjoy using those. And the contract terms around the services is whereby we'll have joint Azure and Oracle customers working with their Oracle sales rep as per usual for a quote. So you would go into the Microsoft marketplace, and then there would be this manual process where you reach out to your rep, and then we would work with you on the Oracle side to actually provide you that quote as you've always done. So that's no change in that respect. And on the licensing side on Oracle, it also doesn't change, because you may have an unlimited license agreement called a EULA, or you may want to bring your own licenses as a BYOL to purchase Oracle Database Azure, just like you can with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure too, on the Oracle Database service side of things, to be clear on that. Okay, next slide, please, Tammy. So the reason why we're doing this is because we are giving our customers, the choice and really to meet them where they are at. So customers today may still have very, very mission critical workloads on premises. They may be looking to create new workloads as well, and actually have chosen Azure as a cloud first strategy and needed a solution to bring that database closer to the application. So we can still do that with the OCI Azure Interconnect. We can still offer you choice, and you can still use the OCI Azure Interconnect for a split stack or a stacks to stack workload using the Oracle database or other OCI services at the back end. And that runs over that interconnect with low latency performance. This particular service, what we're striving for is even better latency, because we're placing the actual database close to the AZ that runs the actual workload in Azure. And that's something that is completely different, and we're laying down a particular network to service that. And therefore, we don't have this dependency on the OCI Azure Interconnect regions anymore. So that's a huge change. And that enables customers to run these enterprise applications. They can modernize and innovate, and also the data and analytics as well, if they want to, for example, combine that with the highest performing and most scalable database. Next slide, please, Tammy. As I mentioned previously, we are, as I said, this isn't an announcement yet. So this is why we have the safe harbor statement in play, because we're still working things through from obviously from an architecture perspective and deliverables. But we will be delivering this particular service so you can actually again, use your database services and have your management and performance monitoring and logs and metrics available within the Azure, so that you can actually have that conveniently at the tip of your fingers. And Microsoft recently renamed their Active Directory to Entra ID, and we will enable the federation with Microsoft Entra ID to simplify the identity and access management. This is something we've had as a common theme and thread and capability throughout all the Oracle database services, because, like I said before, it enables that unified directory and single sign-on, which prevents you as a customer having to maintain directories on both sides in OCI and Azure, and enables this single sign-on capability. And the beauty of it all is that you can still leverage your existing Azure knowledge and your Oracle skills from the database side together to manage your applications in this workload. Next slide, please, Tammy. But for those of you that don't know, we also have on the OCI side of things a service called Oracle Cloud observability and management. So observability and management services. This is really great when customers need to run a workload across two clouds, and we have the capability to support Microsoft Azure and AWS for this particular observability service. And it enables you, if you've got all these siloed workloads and you've got these workloads running across the two clouds, we can actually have this monitoring, analyzing, and managing these multi-cloud applications and infrastructure environments across the full stack with visibility, pre-built analytics, and automation as well. And all of these things delivered that you can see on the screen, you know, we've got application and stack monitoring, logging and troubleshooting, database and monitoring management, also from the infrastructure to resource management layer, we can deploy and manage all these resources. And another thing that's really handy is that we've got this Terraform-based automation that can manage the data exchanges. And all of this wrapped up is across the stack in a multi-cloud workload for you as a customer to leverage. Next slide, please, Tammy. This slide just really summarizes what I've said before, with the fact that we are working with you to consider what would be convenient and beneficial for you from a commercial perspective, to burn down your existing Azure commitments, your credits, use and take advantage of the licensing models that we have within Oracle today, whether that's bring your own license or if you've got a EULA, and also leverage your and receive your rewards to reduce your Oracle Tech licenses in support too. Next slide, please, Tammy. So from an Azure perspective, here we have the reaction from the market according to the industry analysts, IDC, Omdia, and the Gartner. And Oracle EAS is a differentiated play, and it always offers these tangible benefits and performance and openness is what IDC says. And we have this optimum price performance, low network egress charges, and consistent global pricing from Omdia, which is, again, all these points that we're trying to make it easier for you from a multi-cloud perspective, where Gartner also points out we've got the native offering for interconnectivity, and whereby we're trying to meet you where you're at to really make life easier for you, leverage your existing skills between OCI and Azure so that you are comfortable and receiving the performance and scalability, low latency for your workloads. So this is a very compelling value that we're trying to offer customers. And I think Oracle is really at the top of its game when it comes to reaching out and really streamlining our R&D specifically for multi-cloud workloads. So if you would like to know more, if you go to the next slide, please, Tammy, I've attached this QR code so you can actually go directly to the oracle.com site, and thereby you can see the information that we have. On there we have a blog from OCI. Karan Bhatta has written a blog for the announcement. He's SVP of OCI product management, and that came out when we delivered this with the announcement, and you can see the actual joint announcement as well from Microsoft and Oracle as the press release, as well as an FAQ. So if we do we have any questions? Let me just have a look.
We had a couple of we did have a couple of questions, so thank you for asking those questions. I really appreciate that. Yes, we have a few minutes. If anybody has any other additional questions, please post those in Q&A, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. So I think this is really exciting. So Thomas, I know you've been our subject matter expert from OCI. Do you have any comments while we're waiting to see if anybody else has any other questions or anything? I'm putting you on the spot there, Thomas.
Thank you, Tammy. Well, it's an exciting product. So we're just to repeat what Suzanne already mentioned, that in our partnership with Microsoft, this shows that we are tightening this partnership even more. So we're going to make it better integrated. We are going to make it easier for the customer to use, and we are going to make it easier to connect and leverage the low latency of deploying something within the same data center.
I think it's also very good that we're investing in those, investing outside of the OCI Azure Interconnect region. So we're doing it differently this time to meet them really where they're at on their AZ and their network too. So think that's
Yeah,
the big difference.
and I really like this
Correct.
solution because it offers it again, we're offering the flexibility, just like we do with Exadata platform. You have the flexibility to run it on premises, at cloud customer, in the public cloud. And now we're expanding to run it within an Azure region. So we really are offering a really very flexible solution depending on what your business needs are, your data needs, your application needs. So we're giving you that additional choice to really be able to deploy a solution that's going to work for your business. So that's why I'm really excited. It's just more flexibility, giving you the best of the best of the best. So we're really excited about this.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
We
we
also
don't.
have a FAQ on that site. But looking at the content I've covered, I think I really have answered most of those questions on the public FAQ, but everyone feel free to check them out. They're available on the oracle.com site. So at the top, there's an FAQ title. Yeah.
So over the next few months, it's going to be really exciting. But if any of you have any questions, please reach out to Suzanne, myself, and Thomas, and we'll be more than happy to work with you and your sales rep on this to help you design a multi-cloud solution. So with that, I think we'll end this month's multi-cloud happening session. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you join us in October for some more exciting multi-cloud happenings information. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you, Suzanne. And we'll talk to you next month. Bye.
Bye-bye.